Alright guys, it's been 2 years since I posted a pure Stasis Warlock build. Over the course of this last year, Bungie has been buffing different components of the Stasis subclass, and they have all finally combined together into what you're seeing in this video. You're unkillable even in negative 40 power level content, but you're also very strong and it's also very easy to use. No crazy ability rotation, just pure raw power that can handle pretty much anything in the game. You're going to see me in the Hydra room in a second in this gameplay, where I just face tank the big Hydra boss and bolt the Minitours with Void Banes that spawn in. It's pretty freaking strong. The reason this works so well is because we are taking advantage of using 3 different stasis aspects in this one single build, which if you can do that in any build, it automatically makes it very strong. You have an infinite 50% damage reduction thanks to Frost Armor times 8. I can't stress how good this is. We pair that with infinite restoration, so if we can have both of these up at the same time, you're not going to die. We get a nice stasis weapon boost times 2 for that 17% extra damage. That's on top of having the extra damage, I believe it's 15%, from having 100 weapon stat, and we push that up even further to have infinite ammo in our special weapon that plays perfectly into what we're trying to accomplish. We also quite literally freeze everything for great crowd control, and that's another layer of defense. Then we also give that Frost Armor buff to any allies that we might be playing with. They're going to love you. So make sure to pay attention to everything, because if you get this down and understand it all, you will really enjoy this build, I promise you that. But first we have a quick sponsor. This video is sponsored by Raycon. Raycon sent me their new essential open earbuds, and I have to say these earbuds are amazing. I use them daily when I walk on the tread, you know, to get those steps in since I sit at a desk all day, and they have yet to disappoint me. Raycon's essential open earbuds keep your ears open while still delivering crystal clear sound. They just sit right outside of your ear, so you can still hear those important things that might be going on around you. The best thing about them for me personally is that they are so comfortable. You honestly won't know they are even on your ear. I do a full hour tread walk and then lift some weights, and they never feel bulky or annoying, and they don't hurt on my ear at all. And since they have such a great secure fit as well, they never, and I mean never, move while I'm doing anything. Raycon delivers the same premium audio quality as the big brands, but at half the price. Add in over 3 million happy customers and a 30-day happiness guarantee, and there's zero reason to overpay. So Black Friday is right around the corner. Raycon audio products are up to 30% off site-wide, from everyday essentials to the latest releases. It's the perfect time to upgrade your sound or get ahead of gifting. These early deals won't last long, so shop now before they're gone. Just click the link down in the description or go to buyraycon.com/plunderopen to save on Raycon audio products site-wide. So just click the link down in the description box, or you can go to buyraycon.com/plunderopen to get up to 30% off during Raycon's Black Friday and Cyber Monday deal. That's buyraycon.com/plunderopen. I hope you guys give these essential open earbuds a try because they really are great. And thank you so much to Raycon for sponsoring today's video. Now let's talk about the 2 aspects we're going to take. The first is going to be Frost Pulse, and the second is Ice Flare Bolts. Frost Pulse lets you cast your Rift. It generates that shockwave that freezes nearby enemies, which is good. You can use it offensively, but you don't have to, that's for sure. And the second part here is freezing combatants generates class ability energy. This freeze can be from anything. It can come from our Cold Snap Grenade, it can come from our melee ability, it can come from that Rift that freezes enemies, or it can also come from the weapon that we're using that will also freeze enemies around it. So remember, freezing combatants generates class ability energy. For your second aspect, that's Ice Flare Bolts. Shattering a frozen target spawns seekers that track and freeze other nearby targets. This actually got buffed a couple seasons ago. I think it's been like 6 or 9 months now, where Bungie doubled the amount of trackers that go out, which is really nice. And since we're constantly freezing with our weapon and our abilities, you're just gonna chain freeze everything. As for the fragments, they play a huge part. First we'll take Whisper of Refraction. This is defeating slowed or frozen targets grants you class ability energy. This plays perfect into Frost Pulse, and now anything that is slowed or frozen will give us class ability energy. So we just made that a lot easier to get that Rift back, because anything can be slowed or frozen. Our weapon is going to slow for us, and our entire subclass is going to freeze for us, and the weapon will freeze as well. For the next fragment, we'll take Whisper of Rhyme. Your Frost Armor has increased duration and maximum stack count. This moves it up to times 8, that's a 50% damage reduction instead of about a 35% damage reduction, and it lasts for 14 seconds. Next, we'll add in Whisper of Fissures, increase the damage and size of the burst of stasis when we defeat those frozen targets. It just adds a nice AoE and more damage to the overall build, which is great because you will be freezing everything. And then lastly, we'll take Whisper of Torment. You gain grenade energy each time you take damage from targets, and having Frost Armor increases the amount of energy gained. Every time you take damage from an enemy, you'll get 12% of your grenade back, and this only has a 1 second cooldown between activations. You're always going to have that Frost Armor no matter what, so this will always be active. And this just plays right back into that cold snap grenade. And the reason I take this is because just in case there is a time you do not have your rift ability, you'll just use your cold snap grenade to freeze things. That then will trigger ice flare bolts. When we shatter those frozen targets, the seekers go out and freeze more enemies. And then that triggers our frost pulse, which is freezing combatants, generates class ability energy. So Whisper of Torment just keeps the overall loop, and it'll make sure you have that healing rift available to use. Now let's go over the stats on the build because they are important and the mods play heavily into these. I'm showing you the stats on the build right now with the font mods active. So we're getting close to 80 grenade stat. We have over 100 super just to get it back quicker. We have 124 class ability. So what that means is when we pop that rift, we get about a quarter of our health bar up top. We'll have a nice little overshield when we pop it, which is nice. And then we're really pushing those weapons up to 170 or higher if you could. If I had better armor, I would have done that as well. This just means that all of those abilities, class ability, and your grenade are coming back very quickly. The weapon stat is playing into weapon damage and unlimited ammo. And then the super stat just lets us get us back quicker, use it more often. And our exotic armor piece buffs our super damage as well. For the exotic weapon on the build, we're going to take Aegir's Scepter. This is a special trace rifle, and this has the intrinsic perk Aegir's Call, which final blows with this weapon generate a slowing burst around the defeated target. So it's going to slow and freeze everything as long as you just get a kill. And again, this is just slow and freeze, so it builds that loop of that healing rift. The exotic armor we're going to be using is Ballador's Wrathweavers. And the main thing I want you to take away from this is when you pop that rift ability, you're going to gain that frost armor ×8 instantly. You're already standing in a rift, so you have that restoration, and your stasis weapon gets that 17% damage bonus. This is also applied to any allies that are near you. They get the frost armor and the stasis weapon damage bonus as well. And I can't stress how strong this frost armor ×8 is while being in your rift for healing. Combining that with ice flare bolts because you're freezing everything, and just having the cycle repeat because anything you defeat that's frozen or slowed then gives that rift back. That's how we can just chain the rift as long as there are enemies. So for the mods on the build, on the helmet, we'll just take a special ammo finder, a harmonic siphon so the stasis weapon create orbs of power, and a super font to just bump that super up over 100. On the gauntlets, we'll take double grenade font. That gives me a plus 40. That's why it's up to 77. On the chest piece, you'll take a stasis ammo generation so we can spawn more special ammo in that weapon we're using. You'll take a concussive dampener and a sniper damage resist. This is so when you're playing around that rift, you already have frost armor ×8. It's just going to allow you to survive more splash damage and snipers. On the boots, we'll take harmonic scavenger so we get more ammo when we pick up ammo for that stasis weapon. We'll take 2 weapon fonts. This is a plus 40 to the weapon stat and boost us up to like that 170 you saw. And then on the class item, we'll take powerful attraction to scoop up orbs when we use that class ability, a class font just to get us a nice little overshield, and a reaper mod so we spawn an extra orb of power after using that class ability when we kill something with our weapons. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful. It's been a long time coming since I've done a Stasis Warlock, and this build actually surprised me quite a bit. It's not as flashy as anything else, right? Like doing a million things on the Hunter, but like I said, it's unkillable, it's strong, and it's easy to use. And I think that has its own merits when it comes to builds. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys all in the next video. Have a great rest of your day.